The remarkable comeback of President Trump to the White House swept the world like a tsunami, holding the world to ransom and marking a historical shift in the political landscape of the world. The influence of his anticipated second term was already reverberating across the globe. In cities from Jerusalem and Kyiv to London and Ottawa, his electoral triumph and the prospect of a renewed Trump agenda prompted world leaders to reassess their strategies, leading to significant consequences. As the transition of power in Washington approached, undaunted ABC Amba News has analyzed the depth and breadth of this shift in key regions around the world. The Middle East ceasefire deal in Gaza, the UK, a secret mini cabinet, Ukraine's pressure for a deal, Canada threat of tariffs add to turmoil, and China investors eye trade war. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Tabitha Ako. This is where we begin today's flash news on ABC Amba TV, and we will get into the details and many more right after the break. Stay tuned. We know that Donald Trump has already influenced the Middle East landscape before beginning his second term as president. He effectively bypassed the stalling tactics employed by Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his ultra-nationalist coalition partners, who had been reluctant to accept the ceasefire agreement proposed by Trump's predecessor Joe Biden last May. Thoughtfully, while America's pressure on Hamas and other Palestinian factions has long been expected, Biden's administration never leveraged similar pressure on Israel. Meanwhile, the peacemaker Donald Trump's second term is set to start with him claiming well-earned credit for finalizing the ceasefire deal in Gaza. This accomplishment allows him to enjoy a moment of recognition and success. Let's take a look at Trump's victory over the ceasefire.
Perhaps most beautiful of all, this week we achieved an epic ceasefire agreement as a first step toward lasting peace in the Middle East. And this agreement could only have happened as a result of our historic victory in November. That was some victory. Was that greatest? I don't even know which was greater, 2016 or this one. I think this one. Look, Honest Abe Lincoln. We have Honest Abe. We have Uncle Sam. You know, Uncle Sam shook my hand about 2 months ago. He's got the strongest grip I've ever. You are a strong man. I said, what the hell was that?
All right, that was Trump claiming responsibility and hostages coming home. Over to the current happenings between these close allies, the US and UK. Trump and his team seems to appear different this time around, better prepared and potentially carrying a more assertive agenda. However, his pattern for keeping the world in suspense remains unchanged. It is unpredictability that leaves the British political establishment in Whitehall and Westminster particularly unsettled. How can the UK brace itself for the unknown? A select group of senior ministers has been making attempts. They've held a series of clandestine mini cabinet meetings to contemplate possible scenarios. This meeting include Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, Chancellor Richard Reeves, Foreign Secretary David Lammy, and Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds, who, according to one source, are attempting to anticipate what might come. Well, one insider mentions that crafting plans for numerous specific scenarios hasn't been a priority, as it would drive you crazy trying to predict Trump's next move. I mean, we all know who Trump is. Nevertheless, another source indicates that various documents have been drafted for presentation to the broader cabinet. I hear that their strategy focuses on seeking opportunities instead of worrying about whether Trump might pursue some of his more extravagant claims, such as annexing Canada. All right, turning over to the 3 years disastrous Russia and Ukraine war. The return of Trump to the White House signifies a shift in dynamics for Ukraine. The new U.S. president is prioritizing a peace agreement over escalating costs for American military assistance. This much is evident. However, the strategy he will employ remains unclear. Initially, Trump claimed he could resolve the conflict in a day, but his newly appointed Russia-Ukraine envoy, retired Lieutenant General Kate Kellogg, suggests aiming for a resolution within 100 days. So the question is, should Trump drive both parties to negotiations? Ukraine might find itself at a disadvantage. Currently, Russia controls roughly 1/5 of Ukrainian territory, including the Crimean Peninsula, which it annexed in 2014. However, there are widespread concerns that President Trump might advocate for a settlement favoring Russia, while President Zelensky, on the other hand, has expressed a willingness to make certain concessions. After 3 years of enduring Russia's invasions, options are limited. Yet, with his forces advancing on the ground, albeit slowly and with significant losses, President Putin might be reluctant to halt his momentum. Let's take a look at Trump's projections regards the war.
Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does. He might not. I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia's going to be in big trouble. Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does. He might not. I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia.
Now moving on to Canada. The political landscape in Ottawa has become increasingly volatile as Canada grapples with numerous challenges, including the looming threats from Donald Trump to levy 25% tariffs on Canadian products. Recently, Justin Trudeau appeared resolute in his position as Prime Minister, expressing his intent to confront his ideological adversary, Pierre Poilievre, in the upcoming elections. However, the unexpected resignation of Trudeau's right-hand former finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, in mid-December marked a turning point. Freeland cited Trudeau's inadequate response to Trump's threats as a critical factor in her decision, triggering a significant shift within the party. Following her departure, members of Trudeau's party started openly voicing their dissatisfaction with his leadership, signaling a loss of confidence. Consequently, the final domino fell, and earlier this month, Trudeau announced his resignation as Prime Minister. Okay, let's take a look at some experts of Trudeau's announcing his resignation.
Process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trump's new administration has not left China out. So let's see China's economy and potential impact of the new administration. China's economy experienced a rebound in the final quarter of the previous year, enabling the government to achieve its 2024 growth target of 5% as announced by Beijing on Friday. However, this growth rate is among the slowest the nation has seen in decades, reflecting ongoing challenges such as prolonged property crisis, substantial local government debt, and high youth unemployment. The director of the National Statistics Bureau described China's economic progress in 2024 as hard-won, attributing the achievement to a series of stimulus measures initiated by the government late last year. Historically, Beijing has rarely fallen short of its growth targets. Economic experts generally anticipated this growth rate, with the World Bank projecting that reduced borrowing costs and increased export would facilitate an annual growth rate of 4.9%. Despite this positive development, investors remain cautious due to potential trade tensions, as President-elect Donald Trump is considering imposing tariffs on $500 billion worth of Chinese goods. This is just one of the obstacles China faces in meeting its growth objectives in the coming year. Let's see an excerpt of the video of Trump talking about China trade deals.
Well, I want to get along with China. I had a great relationship with President Xi. We made a fantastic trade deal, $50 billion of farm products and manufacturing products they had to buy here, and they were adhering to it. They don't adhere to it anymore because they don't respect Harris or Biden. But as you know, we signed a trade deal with China, and it was actually better than even the USMCA. It was a great trade deal. China had to buy $50 billion, not $15 billion, not anything else, $50 billion. And it was a great trade.
Oh, well, that's a lot for the world. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's edition of Flash News. Remember, we'll be bringing you untold stories and undoubted at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. Until then, we'll have a pleasant day.